Hi, so in this tutorial I am going to show you how very quickly you can set up a WordPress website once you have purchased your domain. I am in my GoDaddy hosting site and I have several subdomains here, and I am going to pause the video. I wanted to show you that I'm going to be working with the tutorial site, and now I'm going to pause the video while I go into work on the application process itself. So you can see here that I have hosted domains and I have applications, and what I want to do now is go to my applications and let's just take a look, see what my options are here. So here you can see that I have the option to install WordPress, and I am looking for my WordPress application. All right, let me back up for a minute and okay, I was in the right place. I'm going to show you again where that came up. In my applications, I can install WordPress, and it's going to ask me where I want to install WordPress, and I'm going to use the domain tutorial. I'll leave the rest of this blank. I'm going to pop in my username and password, so I'll pause the video and then we'll... All right, so I've started that application. It's basically a one-click, and here you can see that the application is being installed, and when it's finished there will be a message that it has been successfully installed. And usually on a quiet time on GoDaddy, at least on my hosting site, this usually doesn't take more than 10 or 15 minutes. During busy times, during the weeknight and the evening when more people are online working their different WordPress sites, you may have a slower application installation time, but this doesn't usually take very long. But I am going to pause the video once again. So while this application is being installed as a subdomain on my platform of Tech Talk Co-op, I do want to remind you to really think about what the uses are going to be of your websites that you create. So this subdomain tutorial that I've set up, I will use in combination with another one of my subdomains, Demo, to make these short demonstration videos to show folks how to get things. Okay, our installation was successful in the subdomain, and so now I am going to cross that out. Going to go to applications. Here's tutorial, techtalkcoop.com. I'm going to log in. Oh, so annoying. Okay, the computer and I finally agreed what the password was for this site. So here you can see that I'm in the site, and I'm going to pause the video so that I can reframe it. You can see the drop. So when you first get started and you're into your site and you've logged in, WordPress tries to make it really easy for you for your next steps, whether you want to write a blog post, add an about page, view your site, manage your widgets or your menus, turn your comments on or off, or learn lots more about getting started. So this is where you have to kind of take the time to explore. And my experience with installing a WordPress site, having the materials ready for my about pages, for the first few pages that I want to create before I start using the site purposefully, you want to plan on spending about 10 hours to get really familiar with this. In time, you'll be able to do this much more quickly, and you may move on to creating other sites. But it's important to have a realistic sense of how long it's going to take you just to get used to the site and navigating it and the kinds of options you have within the site. And I want to show you that in your GoDaddy quick setup, at least, you have the option to choose a site and to work with some of the templates that they have. And the descriptions of the templates are here. And that's really good information for you to get yourself going when you're first starting out. Here's another tab from WordPress, asking if you're new to WordPress and some things that you might want to become familiar with before you get deep into working on your site. I'm going to cancel this because I'm familiar with the platform. So this is your drop-down menu. It's also called your dashboard. When you come up to the top, there's some welcome information about security, hosting control center. Jetpack is a number of options that you can use. Tucked under here is a visit site tab that when you've done some work and you want to go check it out and make sure it's exactly the way you want it, you would use that. This is the tab you use for your posts. You can see all of your posts, you can add new posts, you can set up your categories and your tags. This media tab will put you into your library and allows you to add new media. You can add new media from this tab, and you can add multiple files that you would want to keep stored in your library rather than adding them as one-offs in your post if you know ahead of time what you're likely to be focusing on. This is where you create your pages, see all your pages and add new ones. Here's for comments, appearance for themes, customizing your theme options, your widgets, your menus, your header, and your cascading style sheet editor is located here. This is where you locate your plugins, see what plugins are available, add new ones and edit them, users, tools, and settings. We're going to go to settings so that I can show you what your general settings will look like. Here you have the name of your website. I'm not naming this. If I would type in the name for it here if I were going to name it. So let's say I was going to call it Tech Talk Cafe Demos. And then I would just add just another Tech Talk site. And then you would save that. This gives you your website information, your date and time, and the way that you're setting up basic information, how this WordPress site will get a hold of you for email, who can register, their roles, and like that. So we go up to pages. There is a sample page here for you to view. And if we go to look at it, you will see that this is what your sort of out-of-the-box WordPress site looks like before you've done any of the customizations to it. You also see that this is identified as a sample page. And then up here you can see that you can go back to edit this page or add a new page or go back to your dashboard if you like. So you can use this key or you can use the arrow back to get back to your dashboard. Okay, posts function much the same way. If you go and look at all posts, you will see that there is a sample post here. WordPress always includes a Hello World sample post telling you this. This is your first post, edit or delete it, and then start blogging if that's what you're going to use your site for. Okay, so we go back. Appearance is another important tab to be familiar with. This tells you here that you currently have the 2013 WordPress theme installed on this particular installation. Now you'll see a tab here that says Install Themes, and you can go here and you can choose the features that are most important for you as you're setting up your blog. For some people it might be photo blogging, for other people it's a forum site. You have the opportunity to look at all of these options, including your colors and the basic setup of your platform. Flexible, 2 columns, 4 columns. You make these choices and then you will come up. You can also look here and look at featured themes. And any of these themes you can choose to preview. And it gives you a rating. And this is a high resolution theme for blogs and magazines. And then it gives you some features that you can look at, and it gives you the opportunity to install, or if you're not interested in this particular platform, to close it. So the other important things that you want to know about are your menus. You can create a new menu. This is your main navigational menu structure, that when people are looking at your menu, these will be the tabs. So we know that the home is a custom page and the sample page is listed here. Now you can open these up. You can give the page a navigation label, a title attribute, and you can either remove or and otherwise enhance the information on this page. And this is where you, as you build your pages, they will be here and you can choose whether or not to add them to your menu. If you don't add them to your menu, they will not show up in your navigation tab. And in that way, you can set up pages that are hidden pages. Next, I want to show you plugins. This is a list of some of the installed plugins here. Akismet is an anti-spam plugin. I recommend that you use it. You go off-site, you pick up a API key from Akismet, you bring it back here and load it up in your plugin. You activate it, and there's this funny thing called Hello Dolly. I don't know why that's there, but there are these plugins, and you'll get to understand what those are about if you spend a little time on the site. What you can also do is you can search for a plugin feature that you want to have. For instance, I recently found I looked under music and I found that there is a WordPress feature now where you can have music added to your, and here it is, WordPress music. I recommend it. It's quite nice. But there are other options for you, especially if you're thinking about using your website for the purpose of selling music that you're composing and performing yourself. These are the kinds of options that you want to look for. The other one is SEO, to go and find plugins that will help you optimize your search engine for all of your pages. I personally use SEO by Yoast, but there are lots of things for here to look at, and you'll make your own decisions. Once you choose a plugin, I'm just going to choose, let's see what Lazy SEO. It's got 5 stars. I'm going to look at the details to see whether it's compatible. Now you see this has not been tested with this version of WordPress. It's only compatible up to 3.4.2. So this is not one that I would necessarily want to take the risk, because sometimes your plugins can interfere with each other and then you end up having problems and you're not quite sure what's gone wrong with your site. So plugins is a good place to spend some time. Users is fairly straightforward. There I am as the user. I'm the administrator. You can add users. If you're going to set up a membership site, then this would become a more important page for you, especially if you're going to use a newsletter and you're going to be collecting information within your blog site about who's reading your newsletter or who's in touch with you. Tools are fairly simple. Import, export, GoDaddy, and then again we're back to settings. So there's so much you can do to dress up your site. I think we probably should take a look at widgets. Widgets are the little things along the sidebar that we see in websites, and we really take them for granted. But here you can see you have some additional options. One of these is arbitrary text or HTML. If you wanted to add this to your sidebar, you could do that here. And if you wanted, for instance, to have an opt-in form on your sidebar showing up on your website, this is where that HTML code would go, and you would save your opt-in form right here on this part of your site from the inside. The other thing I think that is probably a good idea when you're first using WordPress is to be sure to include the meta opportunity here, which lets you log in and log out from your site if you're actually looking at it. That's sometimes a very helpful thing to have if problems arise with your server or with your site down the line. Okay, so that again shows you just how simple this all is, and it didn't take us very long to set it up, and you would have to spend maybe another 10 hours, I would think at most, getting familiar with this, and then you would have an interesting site. So this is an example of what your site will look like after you've dressed it up and worked on it. Here you can see I've made a custom header for Tech Talk Co-op Coaching. These are my tabs. These are my navigation tabs. So if I were to go to Welcome Digital Immigrants, you can hear the music that's coming from my little add-on, which I really love. And then this is an opportunity for people to understand what Tech Talk Co-op is about. I can then navigate back, I can edit, I can change things. I can have, for instance, this is my Momentum Mindset page where I share thoughts about, these are more coaching oriented, but there's a video here, and there you can see is my opt-in page. So you can dress your site up in so many ways. It's actually really a lot of fun to do that. So this is a little bit more information, and I think that then we're pretty much done with this video. We're just at about 15 minutes. So all right, thank you very much for checking this information out, and get started building your own WordPress website.